Recorded.
Okay, members and friends, this is what you're looking at here. Her name is Janice or Janice?
Janice.
Janice Shore. Janice is the young lady that in January of 2013, I had mentioned this before, she was the young woman that was murdered and somehow put up in a tree.
2012.
And it was in January 2013. No? What is this? Died...
Beaten into a coma on December 2nd, 2012, and died in the hospital on February 18th.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was in January that she died. So December 2nd, 2012 is when she died. She was
beaten on that date.
Oh,
she died in February 18th, 2013.
Okay. All right, so somehow somebody got a hold of her, beat her up, did some very terrible things to her, strung her up in a tree, left her there. Apparently she was there for 16 hours, suffering, from my understanding. And I found out about it in January, because I've made reference about this young lady, and I said I wanted to do a video to show the severity of that. This is what's happening out in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada, to vulnerable young people, or just vulnerable people in general. And she died February 18th, 2013. But I don't think she ever fully recovered. So what we're going to do is we're going to stand back here. And we got some people here that have... Apparently you did this last year too, right?
Yes, we came in and did a ceremony for Janice Shore, and we hung some of her colors up in the tree. And we figured that we would hang them up
closer, you're gonna
pretty
have to talk
high.
louder. You have to come a little closer because the camera won't pick it up.
Yeah, we hung them up quite high in the tree because we didn't want anybody to tear them down, and they have not. We decided we were going to come out here and do a 4-day ceremony to honor her life and honor her presence. And on the 4th day, which will be February 12th, we're going to do an honoring celebration of her life and generally acknowledge that she is known. And the good positive thing is that many people have said that they knew Janice personally and knew of her family and her children. Our main concern is that a woman who had some problems was killed in a back lane in Surrey. We understand that there have been many deaths in the past year. We're asking for saying prayers for the success of the police force and saying prayers for the success of the city in starting to recreate a safe place for all people in Surrey. This poor person did not do anything to be killed in this fashion, and the sad thing is that it was a very violent act by someone. They still are not apprehended to our knowledge. The focus of what we are doing is to say prayers for all people who are not involved in criminal activity who had their lives taken. We also pray, of course, for those ones that died as a result of criminal activity, but focusing most of our prayers on the safety of average people. Average people are people with a lot of money and people with no money. The way we look at the human being is that we are all the same. We all deserve to have safety. We all deserve to be free to walk wherever we want in our communities. And unfortunately for this person, she was not allowed to. So we're here and setting up, doing prayers for 4 days and doing other things in our fashion, and generally saying to the city and to the place that we really want things to get better. We have said that personally to one of the councillors from the city, and we said that personally to the police force. We do not see this as a problem that can be isolated to the city or the local police, more as a Canadian and provincial problem. There's been a very large influx of people into the city of Surrey in the past few years, and the budgets haven't grown to take care of the crime, to take care of the mental health problems, to take care of the housing problems. People without support are falling through the cracks, and Janice Shore is the worst result of what can happen to a human being without support. So we'll continue to pray and continue to do ceremony for people for a while yet, perhaps until there is safety, which may never come, but we have to try. So say thank you. Thank you.
Do you want to say something?
Just a few words.
Just a little louder for the camera to pick it up.
We're here for community awareness, and as Tom had mentioned, there's many things have happened, not just here, but all over Canada. And somehow, it's got to stop. We have to let the people know. Take the blinders off. Take the blinders off. Come and see what is happening in your community. Talk to the city officials. Talk to anybody. And just report it. Report it. If you see something, report it. And you're not being a rat or whatever. You're just talking from your heart in a truthful way. And like Tom says, we'll be here another day for prayers and sharing with others from the community who have come and talked with us to let us know what has really been happening here. And I thank them I can be walking through here. I want to walk through here myself. I used to live in this neighborhood, and I could walk through the streets at night without being afraid. Now I wouldn't want to, because I'd be afraid. I'm an elder, and I couldn't protect myself the way I could when I was younger. But I'm glad that we're having somebody put this on, document it for others to see, which is good. That helps us, helps everybody. And I just thank you.
Well, as Mayor X, I have to say thank you, sirs. Honest to God, I'm going to put myself in the middle. Now, my voice can travel, so you can stand back and get all three of us. All right? Because there's power in numbers. Power in numbers. And that's I think what we're trying to do here is a little bit of bring in the numbers and start educating the masses and trying to work with, like you said, the local police department and let them know that, we want to be a part of the solution. So when in doubt, call. Also too, talking to city councils and, they are aware of the problems. Now, I've been informed that at some point, we're looking more at federal jurisdiction because the cities just don't have the money, and provincial governments don't necessarily have the money either. But at the end of the day, what I learned is it takes people caring to stand up and say, we care, we're not going to forget, we're going to make tribute, and we're going to keep trying to bring awareness to some of the issues that face the most vulnerable in our communities. And, Mama Lynn, Mayor X, we all know that I've got my issues too. I think everybody's got some kind of issue. So once we get past that point and start coming together as just people in general to start providing more support to each other, as these people have been doing, I found out from my neighbor that they were here, and I've been wanting to do a video on this for over a year now, because it's very close home to me, and it means a lot to me. My daughter's at risk to suffer the same fate. Lots of people out here at risk. So what we need to do is just keep talking about it, try and get more people to stand together as a group, find ways to address the issues on a micro level, but we have to get that macro level going too. How we do that, how we fill in the gap, I don't know. But I think this is a very good first step, because we're not letting it just go under the wayside. We're not letting it just be water under a bridge. We're not just saying, well, you know, it was just another homeless person. We're actually standing here and saying, this person's life counts. She didn't die in vain. These people here, these men, have taken 4 days out of their time, not including what they've done last year, not including what they do from month to month to month in other areas of the province or the city or districts. And they're being consistent with the message that they care. I'm being consistent with the message that they care, that I care. And now what we need to do is get more people out here with that message that we all care, because I think one of the messages that I heard while talking in the, what is that called in terms of a teepee? I know, but is there
Place to live.
No. You have it as a, what kind of teepee? I went into a ceremonial teepee, first time I've ever been in a teepee today. And the message that I'm hearing is that we need to start caring, because that's what we're losing in our society. And for these men to come out here with their wives and their friends to say we still care, I think that's what we need to spread out more and more. And unfortunately, it takes tragedy to bring people together, and it shouldn't be like that, but we can turn that around. And that's what I got to say right now.
Good. We'll sing you a healing song.
Okay. Thank you.
You'll have to forgive us for having that water before we
Oh yes, they're fasting.
Well, I mentioned it was a spiritual teaching like this.
That's what I meant. Yes, it's a spiritual
This
teepee.
time it's a spiritual
Today is a spiritual teepee. The first time I've ever been in a teepee. And we got some plans for some teepees with some little kids in the future at some point, because I just made myself some new friends, members and friends on YouTube. But if you want to take a picture of that teepee, that'd be great. Keep it short and sweet, right? I mean, it's hard. It's a hard topic, right? It's a very hard topic to talk about.
I don't know how to stop it.
Oh, alrighty-o. There's the teepee. Huh? Look at that. I got to put some tobacco. I said a little prayer. All right, members and friends. So that's the tree. Okay, members and friends. Just got back from that memorial prayer service, vigil. Obviously, somebody's moved back in. Right. Trying to eke themselves out a living. That's all they got. Till it gets cleared out again. I don't know where they get this stuff from. Oftentimes people just throwing it out in the garbage. Right. Can you hear that? This ringing is driving me nuts. I don't know where it's coming from. That's what brought me over here. Because that's what this ringing sounds like in my ear. I'm very highly sensitive to it. Now hold on. What I want you to hear is this ringing. It's coming from over there somewhere. Okay. Can you see me? So I told these people that I seen today that I would do a commentary, more than likely, because oftentimes I do that, right? I'll go do something, come back and sit in front of the camera and just try and touch base on what you just seen, right? Now, taking it back a year, I've been talking about this young lady off and on throughout my videos, in addition to community, members, to people in the community. And I have been reminding social workers as well, right, that this is what vulnerable persons are facing out in the street. Just hold on a minute. I don't know. I got this thing facing me. Just wait a minute. Okay, just put a little book underneath it. So, that's one woman out of several. And I've said this before too. Only it's not being reported on or in blips and blurbs where I didn't see any reference to this Janice Shore. But apparently there was some commentary on it through our local newspapers at one point in the past. Off and on, a couple, 2, 3 times. Whose fault is that? I guess that's mine for not reading the local newspaper. But it doesn't address all the other individuals that have been murdered in Surrey, who live on the fringe, and probably more than likely have not been reported on. Because we don't want to create a panic, right? We don't want to disrupt the general public and have them fearful of their living environments or their surroundings within their communities. Prior to this little commentary, you can see what's back in the bush where I live, not too far down the lane there, right? That's like not even 75 feet away from where I am. So for all their bulldozing down and knocking down trees and, and running out the homeless and throwing the stuff in the garbage, and you can see from my videos, year after year, it's like clockwork. They slowly but surely move their way back in because they have nowhere to go. And a lot of them do suffer from mental health issues. And now, how did we know that was going to happen? Hold on a minute. Okay. So, the reason I never went off and did a video prior today on this young woman who was brutally murdered was because I didn't want to just go there by myself and chit chat, right? And I certainly didn't want to go up by the homeless shelter and try and find somebody that could connect with me, that knew her, and put some value to the story in terms of I knew her, and this is what happened. And so it took a whole year and my neighbor to tell me that there was some people out there doing a vigil, a memorial with a teepee. And I thought, oh, okay, well, here's my chance to show that for a whole year, I haven't been lying to the viewer. I haven't concocted some story just to get attention or to sidetrack from the issues of what's been going on with my daughter and my family and my grandson. Because, just to kick people out so that that's what they're faced with, because that's what's out there. Like I said, she's not the only woman who has died in the last year and a half. There's several people, and that's not including the men. As a matter of fact, I got wind that there was just another murder, right, up on, maybe probably about another 10 blocks away from here. So, what does that tell you? It doesn't stop. And a lot of it has to do with, the level of poverty that's in our communities. And the fact that people are, watchers instead of doers, watching with their cell phone, waiting for the next viral video to go upload so they can feel like they contribute something into society, when in fact, we need to participate. Not just assimilate, we actually need to participate. So these people that were doing what they were doing today, is just trying to bring awareness to what's out there and to keep us connected so that we can continue to care and not forget. Because when you start to forget and you convince yourself that you're not part of the solution, or that you're not obligated to be part of the solution, or that you have no reason to care, well, it's kind of like chip off the old block, right? It just kind of goes like a domino. And before you know it, we're running around with mayhem. So that's why I followed up with the story today, because I still care. I still care about that young woman that had to suffer in such a manner, for no reason other than no reason, for absolutely no reason. And I still care about the women that are still having to face that type of dilemma for whatever reason. As a matter of fact, when I was driving home from, being at the vigil there today, there was a woman, to be honest with you, she looked kind of South Asian, which is unusual because the South Asian community tend to keep their problems isolated within their own community. And you don't see too many South Asian people that are vulnerable out in the streets. Instead, they seem to get kind of tucked away. But anyway, she looked somewhat South Asian, and you could tell that she was struggling with something, right? Some sort of an addiction. And she had her little bags there on the ground beside her, and she was trying to get my attention, and I'm like, well, I can't bring you home. I'm sorry, I can't stop and let you come in the car with your bags, and then, what am I going to do with you? Where am I going to take her? So I felt really bad driving away because she was obviously looking for some kind of help. But there's just not enough resources. There just is not enough resources to take the people so that they can get the proper health care. And, that's one of the biggest issues that I'm even having with my own daughter. Like, I took her to detox. She was in detox for 6 days. She said, well, I'm on methadone, and they can't do anything for me with methadone, and there's nothing to do. You just sit there and watch TV all day. They don't have actual programs on site. They don't have a gym for people to work off their excess energy as they're coming down off their whatever it is that they're coming down off of, and they go stir crazy, right? And even when they complete the program, there's still nowhere else for them to necessarily go. So when these fellas were talking about Canada, they were kind of talking in the realm of a federal, we need more federal funding, more federal programs, more federal interest, more federal participation, more federal commitment on a provincial and municipal level, because the federal dollars would trickle into the province, and then it would trickle into the, districts. Can you please stop? I'm talking. Okay? I won't be long. It's a distraction. And But how do we get the attention of the federal government? Well, are they watching my videos? Some of these bureaucratic business people, men and women? I don't know. Maybe they are. Are they interested in the common folk that, you know, have limited resources and limited education and may suffer from learning disabilities or mental health issues? And like, where is their alliance on a federal level to the micro level? So I suppose, you know, these fellas are right. We need more federal funding on a provincial level to help, you know, the various districts within a province or a territory to deal with these, you know, very serious matters that are affecting real human beings. But for me, of course, they wanted to know who I was. So I gave them the gist of the story, right? I came in with my little collection box. And maybe I scared them because they're like, well, we're not, you know, this is not a political thing. And I'm like, I know it's not political. But at the end of the day, just from my own personal experiences, no matter how much we ask the federal government, provincial government, I'm talking, or I'm talking,
Oh, sorry.
thank you, or the municipal government, 3 levels of government, you know, I'm an individual that still says we need, as a community, as individuals within our own communities and our own districts and our own provinces, you know, we need to step up to the plate too, right? But they're a small organization, so they don't have any more help than I have, right? They're just a small group that, you know, does their particular program, and, you know, they're appreciative of what I do, but at the end of the day, I'm still doing a solo with these things, right? But in my opinion, no matter how much we ask municipality, you know, councils to step up to the plate, make it better for the people, no matter how much we ask for the police to step up to the plate and, you know, keep more of a watchful eye so that, you know, the most vulnerable don't get murdered and all this other stuff that goes on out in the streets, you know, and no matter how much we can go crying to the provincial government to cough up a little bit more money so that we can develop more programs, at the end of the day, it's still going to have to come from the people themselves. How we fill in that gap, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is this young lady, Janice Shore, you know,
Was right?
Yeah, they were doing a vigil. That's where I
What
was.
happened?
Well, I was in a teepee. First time I've ever been in a teepee today.
I'm talking about fucking over there. I don't. Okay. You know,
The one that was hung in the tree.
Oh, her. No, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk to you.
No, I mentioned that there was
No,
just
you
a
were-
murder
I thought
just
you were talking
recently.
about that. I thought you
Like,
just left and came back.
no, I didn't go there.
Oh, okay.
No.
Sorry.
The cops have cleared out. Apparently they were there for a day and a half and just whatever. But that's what's happening. It may be on the 6 o'clock news. It may or may not be, depending on the individual and their circumstances.
Bingo.
Right? You know, it's selective reporting.
Cops kept quiet though. No sirens. They were there all night, but they kept it very quiet.
Well,
Very mum. They shut it down quick.
yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, but next week there will be another one somewhere else.
Yeah, there's a serial killer.
It's something.
No, even the cops. It's like,
Yeah,
there's a guy killing girls right now.
yeah, like women. So
Yeah.
why?
Like Tisha. Yeah. Why do you think my buddy drove her? And if he's on working, he's gonna pick her up. From now on.
Don't scare me.
What do you mean? Why? What did I just say? Because
Well-
Tisha can get more work if she works late shifts, right? And he works sometimes all night long, right? And he has the freedom that you can pick her up
Okay.
and
Well,
drop her off, and it doesn't cost anything. Okay.
the point is, people should be able
Oh,
to
you're
walk.
welcome, by the way.
The people that people should be able to walk in their community without fear. This is Canada. You know, there's certain rights that Canadians have. Whether you're an immigrant, landed immigrant, born indigenous, Canadian, born into the country, you were born in Canada, it doesn't matter. We have certain basic human rights, and walking free in our community without fear of injury because of is one of those rights. How we establish and get those rights back remains to be seen. It's going to have to come from all different levels. Yes, the federal government needs to get more involved, right?
Inside.
And yes, the community members in the community, can you please stay quiet? Yeah, right? Need to get more involved. Yes, we need to pay homage to people who have lost their lives for no reason other than being vulnerable, and and encourage people to become aware and not afraid to come stand together and start making a difference. So anyway, all right, members and friends.
Okay, we'll sing you a healing song.
Okay. Thank you.
You'll have to forgive us for having that water.
Oh yes, they're fasting. That's what I meant. Yes, it's a spiritual teepee. Today is a spiritual teepee. The first time I've ever been in a teepee, and we got some plans for some teepees with some little kids in the future at some point. Because I just made myself some new friends, members and friends on YouTube. But if you want to take a picture of that teepee, that'd be great. Right? I mean, it's a hard topic, right? It's a very hard topic to talk about.
I don't know how to stop it.
Oh, alrighty-o. There's the teepee. Huh? Look at that. I got to put some tobacco. I said a little prayer. All right, members and friends.